Hello everybody, Shady here. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about video game strategy guides. This is kind of an antiquated thing. One of the main reasons I want to talk about this is because I was looking on Amazon, and obviously Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has really recently come out, and that game's actually getting a strategy guide, and I think that must be it's like the only one I've seen in so long, so it kind of made me think, I'd like to show my guides because it's a very rare thing. It basically never happens now. Because obviously, the whole point of these is they would give you a full walkthrough of a game and all the information you need to know about secrets and Easter eggs, all that sort of stuff. These were mainly made before the advent of the internet and stuff, or before that stuff was really big. Definitely though, the height of it really was I guess it really properly started from I can think the PS1 era. Obviously you have Nintendo Power during the Nintendo Super Nintendo era and things like that, and hotlines you can call up and that sort of stuff. But obviously, yeah, this kind of became a thing as games got bigger and there was more in them. They were mainly RPG related, and most of the ones I have are RPG related. But yeah, the really cool thing, obviously kind of pointless nowadays, but it's still a really cool collector's item anyway. The first one I'm going to show you, this isn't the first one I got, but it's the only Metal Gear one I have, Metal Gear Solid 4. Yeah, this is a really cool one, as you see, on the back there, explains to you what it is. We've got this cool version of Snake, there's shiny lettering and stuff. One of the main reasons I like this one's cool because one, it starts off with this forward from Kojima himself, which is so cool. Obviously Kojima doesn't really have anything to do with Metal Gear anymore. It's not really a thing anymore. Apparently it's going to make a revival, but wait and see. What's really funny on this though is, according to Kojima, I don't buy this at all, but he's trying to make out that MGS2 was meant to be the final game in the series. That's just not true at all. Obviously, it probably could have been because it was kind of making a point, about sequels and how the industry kind of follows trends in a way, and that sort of stuff. I'm talking about the meta narrative, that is, anyway. But yeah, it ended on a cliffhanger and there was no way it was going to be the final game. But yeah, anyway, that's besides the point. But yeah, you get these kind of, you get the full walkthrough of a game from start to finish. It's what's really cool is it goes into a lot of detail on, if you look here, so it'll show you the act and the chapters and stuff, and then it'll give you hints. You actually get to see the map, and you get to see all this really cool stuff like that. It's really awesome. But the main reason I liked it, I used to just get them as collector's items mainly because I really just love the games. There was a whole segment on Metal Gear Online as well. That was cool. I remember that. And also, this is one I really like. It gives you all of this stuff. It's kind of story breakdown as well, even though you're playing the game. And where was it? This is a really cool thing. Let's find it. This is obviously a lot of fun, right? Me looking through a book. Yeah, you can kind of this full encyclopedia, essentially, which is so cool. But yeah, awesome game, by the way. Not this all for. I think a little divisive. I guess most games are, really, but it's still a great game. Yeah, turn Snake into an old man, but it's still cool. Yeah, it's like Kojima. He never liked Snake, I guess, in a way, did he? Yeah, but it's still a great game. But yeah, that's the first one. Next up, really cool one, Golden Sun Dark Dawn. This was obviously, but the first two Golden Sun games were on GBA, and then years later we did have a DS third game. And that was it for this series, unfortunately. But it's a really cool series though. I'll show you the back. You see the gins on the back there. They're kind of the things that become your summons. Give you different abilities. But yeah, this is a really cool one. What I love about this particular one is you have this really cool kind of look to it. This looks like an old parchment or something with that design there. Yeah, it's really great for RPGs anyway, I find, because they just give you they're the games with the most content, so they're always really cool. There's another cool thing here is this one. Actually, I've actually not removed it, but you get a full world map, which is so cool with this one, which is awesome. But really cool game anyway. It's probably a little bit more up there in price. I pretty much got this and Dark Dawn when they first came out, so relatively cheap. Great game anyway. The Golden Sun games are amazing. So yeah, that's my little you know, kind of plug for the game, if you will. Next up, a game no one likes. I don't mind it. It's okay, but yeah, The Third Birthday, or Parasite Eve, The Third Birthday. This is a strange one because basically, if you don't know, Parasite Eve was originally like a novel, and then they did a movie adaptation, and then they did a couple of games done by Square Enix. They were kind of like these kind of action RPG type of games, really cool horror related kind of horror RPGs in a way, which is really interesting. The first one is a lot more of an RPG, kind of Vagrant Story-esque, I guess. It's a strange analog, but you know what I mean. And the second one definitely feels like more for traditional Resident Evil survival horror game. But yeah, with the third game, it's called The Third Birthday, for starters. So you're wondering why that is. It's because they didn't have the rights to Parasite Eve anymore. And then the game itself is kind of technically not really connected. And then also there's no real RPG elements. It's like a kind of a third-person shooter. Still a really interesting game. What's cool about this though is you have this ability where Aya Brea, where she's able to kind of go inside of, like, put her soul inside of different soldiers and take them over. So when you die, you just put your spirit in someone else and you continue. Really strange game. It looks pretty amazing for a PSP game. I enjoyed it, you know. So another thing is this game is kind of a little bit one of the few PSP games that's kind of up there in price, even though people don't really like it, which is strange. Yeah, it's a cool game. You can also get it digitally on the Vita. I think the store is still open, so if you're interested in getting it anyway. Next up, another great game, Resonance of Fate. I've talked about this a couple of times in a couple of videos. I think it was the 5 must-own games in your 360 collection and 360 RPGs. Obviously, this is on both PS3 and 360, PS4 and PC as well, Steam. Really awesome JRPG. This one's great because yeah, this is it has a really like kind of like in-depth battle system, one that's kind of quite difficult to learn. So this guide's really useful for that. If I'm correct, I think the 4K remaster version, or whatever it's called, removed a little bit of content, so I'm not, but I think this guide is still probably kind of useful for that. One great thing about this guide is, one thing I like anyway, is you get this full like accessories thing and all that, which is really cool. This is like my favorite part anyway. Where is it? There's at the end here, this is one cool thing. This is something they did for newer games. You got this list for your achievements / trophies. Obviously, because back in the day, some of those used to be hidden stuff. Obviously nowadays you can just go to like PS4 trophies and you'll have a full guide up there how to platinum game, but it's still a cool thing. Okay, next up, that's pretty much all, well, most of my non-Final Fantasy ones. The majority of the rest of them are all Final Fantasy games. Okay, first up, I have the guide for Final Fantasy VIII. I never got the one for 7. But yeah, this one's awesome. Final Fantasy VIII is a legit classic in my opinion. We play a Squall, a mercenary, or a mercenary training at Balamb Garden, and then he kind of gets embroiled in a plot where he has to fight off this witch and the Garbadian forces, and it's a really cool game. Really cool game anyway. Yeah, I love this one because you get all this like this great artwork. One thing is, obviously this is Piggyback. They basically did like the majority of the Square Enix ones. Some of the other ones I showed were like Prima Games and stuff like that as well, so it was mainly those two, but Piggyback, they did the best in my opinion. Some of the coolest ones. They put in a lot of detail. What I really love is that you've got this kind of different background font for the different parts as well, to make it kind of, so you know you're not in that particular section. Like the monster section has a different name. The junction section, that's a really cool one because the junction system, you know, is very hard to understand at first anyway, or at least if you're stupid like I was and I played it. Yeah, then you have like, you know, cool item section and everything. Great guide anyway. And one thing I really like is that you've got the full list of all the cards as well. So if you want to collect all the cards in the game, someone wants to have a bell ringing while I'm recording as well, which is nice. ignore that. Yeah, and then you have all the secrets and stuff, which is really cool. I can't see that very well. But yeah, it's really freaking cool game. Awesome guide. Next up, Final Fantasy X. This was actually the first guide I bought. So basically, obviously I played like bloody 7, 8, 9, 10 to death. And then I just remember randomly seeing a copy of this in like, I think it was a place called Game Station back in the day. It was a game shop we used to have in a place called High Wycombe, which is where I lived. And then basically this was up there for sale, so I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. I picked it up. Then I decided I wanted to go through like a full run with the guide and like do everything in the game. Yeah, and then I actually used the guide on 100% of the game. It's like one of the first games I did that with. But yeah, this one was awesome, man. Yeah, here we go. There's maybe a little bit of spoilers, but yeah, there's that section of the guide. What I really like, again, like I said with these ones, is the way they format everything. It's so cool. You kind of get everything, you know, in this kind of like very easy to read way. You get pictures, you know, it's very very cool and easy to follow. Another cool one. This is one of my favourite bits anyway. Like I've always said, the monsters section was all the best. Bestiaries was just awesome. Yeah, just this game's a classic, man. If you haven't played this game, definitely go out and play it. I mean, I love all the Final Fantasy games. It's kind of, for me, it's very hard to pick between 9 and 10 between my favourite, but I definitely think you should give 10 a go. Pretty much available on like every platform at the moment anyway. Obviously you had the PS2 version, and then there was the HD version, PS3, PS4. It's on obviously Steam, Xbox, Switch, so you know there's no reason not to play it. Great game anyway, so yeah, that's the next one. And then obviously 10 had a sequel, 10-2. This was famously the first sequel to a Final Fantasy game. This one obviously we take charge of Yuna and Riku and a new character called Pain, and there's like these dress fairs. This one's awesome as well. What's really cool about 10-2 is that it took the first Final Fantasy game, it took 10, and it kind of obviously like reused a lot of the assets and everything because it's on the same world, but it just lets you explore pretty much the whole map straight away, because obviously 10 is quite linear because you're on this journey and you're just going from town to town, and then you can access everywhere near the end. But in this game, it pretty much gives you like the full map straight away, and then you can go do different things. In this one, it's kind of like there is a story, but then you're doing loads of little odd jobs here and there. It's a really fun game. It has a cool battle system. The dress fair system lets you kind of, you know, you'll equip these different dresses, which are essentially the different roles. But yeah, it's cool as hell. Also, I think this one had a fully active battle system as well. So unlike the other ones where things stop, there's the gauge that goes up regardless of what you're doing, so enemies can attack you while you're selecting stuff. So there's a bit more pressure on when you're doing it. So yeah, here's another cool thing. There's Pain there. Chapter 4 as well, really cool game. Another thing I like is you actually did get to fight the Dark Aeons again, which are cool bosses. But yeah, really cool one. And obviously, then after that, I never played 11, but yeah, Final Fantasy 12, and just look at this guide. It's so massive. This is like a huge game, by the way. So obviously, you know, you had Final Fantasy 11, which was a MMO type of game, and then 12 kind of like essentially took elements for that and turned it into like a single player game. So you have like the Gambit system, enemies just roam. There's no like turn-based combat. It's all about setting your gambits and kind of letting the AI do the job in a way. A really cool system. Yeah, there you go. I'll just show you some cool artwork inside there. That's Rex, who's the main character of Archer's brother. And obviously, yeah, we've got all the cool artwork. I just love the art style of this game, by the way. It's so cool. This is obviously set in the in Ivalice. So it's set within the same universe as the Tactics games and Vagrant Story. So these are all as part of a different timeline. I think, if I'm correct, I think 12 is like the earliest part of the timeline, and then Vagrant Story is right at the end. and then the tactics games are somewhere in between. Yeah, so really cool. Yeah, we have Brandt, who's friggin' awesome, one of the judges. But yeah, this one's amazing. And yeah, something deceivingly cool. Yeah, you got the world map and everything. 12 is a great game anyway. But yeah, if you think this one's big, wait till you see the Zodiac Age. Yeah, this one's still sealed. For some reason, I just haven't unsealed it. So. But yeah, this is just like, so basically, what happened with 10, or 12, sorry, like a year or so later, in Japan, they released this international version, because that's the thing they kind of did with Final Fantasy games is, I think it started with 7, where like they'd have an updated version, and typically we would get that updated version, but really weird thing that happened. For some reason, like 12, it took a long time for the localization, and then like once we finally got it, then I think it was like 2005, so by the time 360 was out and everything, then obviously they were developing the international version. So yeah, it's very strange. Like if they would have just waited a bit longer, they could have just translated the international version. But yeah, we didn't actually get it until this release, which came to PS4, Xbox and Switch. Originally on PS4 though, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this one basically adds a job system. So you have this thing called the license board, which is where you learn your abilities. So to equip certain equipment, you can't just do it. You have to learn a license on the license board. You have to get LP from killing enemies. You usually get 1 per enemy, 2 to 4 depending on stronger enemies. And then you learn that license, and then you can equip the thing, bow, armor, equipment, magics, blah blah blah. You still have to buy magics, but you still have to get a license to allow you to use the magics. It's very strange. And in this game, actually introduced a job system. So what happens is you have like, I think it's 12 or 13 different licenses, and each one corresponds to a different job. And then in the original international version, in Japan, PS2 version, you could only equip 1 per character, and then in this version, they allowed you to actually equip 2 per character. So you can kind of create these like mixed jobs, Final Fantasy 5-ish, kind of, with its job system. Really cool version. Also does allow some other things. You get guest characters. You can actually manually change their gambits and control them. Same goes for the actual, I was going to call them Eidolons, Esbers as well, to summon into the game. But yeah, really awesome game. Yeah, these got like, this game you kind of need to go for if you want 100% everything, because there's these rare marks. Some of them are so insane to find. If you want to do all that anyway, you don't have to. Like there's one where it's like, it'll only appear when your in-game clock is at a certain time or something like that, or like the minute hand is on a 7 or something ridiculous. And yeah, and then other ones you have to defeat other enemies, but not some, and then it'll appear when you enter the area. Yeah, it's insane. But it's a great game anyway. Like I said, you know, it's available on all the platforms. I personally, I have it on the, well, I have it on everything, but obviously I prefer playing the Switch version myself. I just like RPGs on Switch is awesome anyway. But yeah, that's that one. And then next, obviously, we had the game after that, which is Final Fantasy 13. Somewhat of a divisive game again, like I was saying in Just For. But yeah, it's a great game. I like it anyway. And yeah, this is a cool guide. I was like so into this game when it came out. This was at the height of my love for Final Fantasy, the release of 13. So yeah, I got this alongside the actual game itself at the same time. But yeah, this one's cool because yeah, you get the full guide and everything. Again, this was piggyback while they were still here, and then yeah, you got the this is really cool. Where is it? Yeah, this is kind of cool. One thing I really like, it kind of just like shows you the full amount of abilities you can learn per character, which is kind of cool, per role, which is nice. So you get an idea of what your stats will be and stuff. This is a cool detail. Okay, you also have this role abilities that will explain the roles fully and understanding it. Basically, in a little aside, in Japan, basically for every Final Fantasy games, they have these, well, they still have these things called Battlemanias and Ultimanias. We did actually get an Ultimania for 7. I think that's one of the few we actually got over here, but mainly they're staying in Japan. So Ultimanias were essentially like an encyclopedia of the game, the world, blah blah blah, story, everything. Battlemanias were the battle mechanics and like a really intricate guide to it. But obviously we never got on here, but obviously these guides had a little bit of that involved, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that's why it's really cool to have this. Yeah, I think they're cool if you're like a super fan. I don't know if I showed the back, but yeah, Stevie Neal there, which is kind of cool. Next, obviously, after that, they did another sequel, 10.2 or 13.2. What the hell am I saying? 10.2. Yeah, this is like with that 12 on. This is one of the hardcover ones. Really cool. Again, I bought this on the day with the game. I actually got like the collector's edition of thingy as well. Here's one cool thing. It shows you the controller mappings for both consoles, which is cool. Obviously 13 was on both PlayStation and Xbox, so it was the same for the complete trilogy. Yeah, you get the all this cool artwork and stuff. One thing I really like, so you had this whole, so you had the guide. One thing I like is you have that point of interest section there. It kind of explains things you may want to look out for and stuff, which is cool. And one thing I like is it has two of these little tabs there, so you can, like, let's say if you want to set one with the walkthroughs and one for like, you know, just looking up the maps or the puzzle solutions and stuff. It's really cool. Yeah, one thing, you have the key items list and everything. It's so cool. Yeah, and one other thing I like is it has that clock, because obviously there's the Astoria Crocs, I think it's called. It's just like you can travel through time and stuff. Kind of a Chrono Trigger-esque type of game in that regard. And obviously after that, they released Lightning Returns. I'm going to quickly show you something. This is like the cover on top of it. Obviously underneath that, we get the actual Lightning Return symbol. This is a really interesting game. This one is actually like a suede feeling kind of cool thing as well, so it's a little bit nicer. Yeah, this is one thing I really love as well. So we see this here. It's like a symbol in the game. That's the symbol of Benevolta, what his name is, I think, the god. No spoilers, obviously, but one of the people who fight in the game. Yeah, so this is a strange game. So in this one, obviously it's called Lightning Returns because in 10 or 13.2, sorry, I keep calling it 10.2. What the hell's wrong with me? 10.2, we actually play as Sarah, Lightning's sister, and another character, Noel. And obviously in this game, Lightning Returns. So that's why it's called that. And then yeah, we just take on all the different things. It's really cool. Sorry about that, just got interrupted there. But yeah, as I was saying, so obviously we get to play as Lightning in this game. So what happens is she's kind of sent by, I think it's the goddess Atros. The world is basically like near the end of time, but time's kind of frozen. It's very strange. There's like 13 days left till the end of the world, and then Lightning has to basically go around helping people. And then I think when it starts at 7 days, and then you help people and you get this stuff called Aradia, which goes in the tree and then gives you extra days. And then I think to like unlock the ultimate ending, you have to get to the 13th day. So it's a really cool game. One thing I like though is that you kind of like you get again like the dress fair type stuff. I'm trying to find a picture of it. Picture of some of them. Yeah, well, here's a picture of one anyway. So we've got this one here. It's like a Final Fantasy 14 inspired one. And then, yeah, obviously, again, this is really, really interesting. Someone looking for a book, right? Yeah. Basically, yeah, you basically find these, or you buy these different dresses, and then they kind of give you different roles and stuff, similar to like Final Fantasy X-2. Another thing I really like as well, I just dropped it, but yeah, you get a full world map as well, which is cool. But yeah, this game's really awesome, man. It's not my favourite, but it's still an interesting thing. You have this kind of cool battle system as well, where the face buttons are different attacks. The different dresses will have different attacks on them. And then you kind of have to, you have 3 altogether, schematas they're called, and then you switch between them in battle. Each one has a separate ATB, and then, yeah, it's kind of about juggling for a cool game though. But yeah, obviously after that, there's a couple left now, but obviously Final Fantasy 15. this was like the actual like last Final Fantasy thing. Again, gives you world map. This was the like actual final Final Fantasy guide that they released. I think, was this piggyback as well? I can't remember. It doesn't say. Probably does say. But yeah, the this is a really cool one. Part wide, obviously. I don't know if they said at the time it was going to be or not, but I was in the mood, or well, I was in the habit of just buying the guide alongside the game, so I just got it. Obviously this is like the collector's kind of cool hardcover one. I really like this one. So obviously in this game, we play as Noctis, the prince, as he's trying to get to meet his wife, but then stuff happens along the way. Yeah, so this one's cool because you have these giant maps and stuff. Because obviously with this game, it's like a giant open world. It was basically their attempt at turning Final Fantasy into an open world game. Or well, not their attempt, it is an open world game. But yeah, it's a really cool one anyway. So what happens is you start off in your car with Noctis and his mates, Prompto, Gladio and Ignis. They're kind of like his personal guards. He's the royal prince. He's going to meet his wife Luna. And then obviously they're going to get married to try to kind of combine the, unite the different people or whatever. And then yeah, you just have this, the car breaks down and then you just have like this big world to explore. And what I love about this, kind of similar to like in 12 in a way, but to a different extent, there's just so much you can do early on in the game, so many different quests and stuff. That's kind of the thing with this game is, the quests or the side quests are the game. It's kind of like a road trip game. That's the best way to describe it. You're just going out, you're driving, you're finding quests to do, you're helping people out. Yeah, thing is, this game, if people don't know, this was originally going to be Versus 13, and then it kind of became 15 later. Originally, obviously, it was going to be in PS3. So 13, Versus 13, and Agito 13, PSP game that was, were all meant to come out at the same time, or around the same time, and be kind of revolved around the crystals and stuff. And then obviously, Agito became Type 0, and then Versus became 15, came out to PS4 as well. Yeah, it's a really cool game. Again, nice shiny thing there. But yeah, this is really interesting because obviously you just explore this giant map. You get to go camping. You make different cool looking food. Obviously that's kind of become a thing in a lot of like RPGs now, where you can make these like cool dishes that give you the buffs. I don't know if this is the first game to do it, but a lot of those foods have like really high fidelity textures, as if I think they may have been using photogrammetry or something, but they look really cool. And also, yeah, the battle system, maybe not the best, because you just basically warp strike to win, essentially. Like that's how you do the best damage. It's still a really cool one though. Also has an interesting magic system. So you kind of draw the magic from these points, and you can combine them to make magics with other items. And then, yeah, but they're like kind of OP as hell, magic in the game anyway. But yeah, it's a great game. And a really cool guide. There you go, there's Prompto there. Yeah, that's just, they have a section just for side quests. That's how many side quests there are in the game. Yeah, so like, you get to see the different points and everything. There's also loads of hunts and stuff you do in the game as well, so it's really cool. Finally, the last guide, for now anyway, is this one, the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This isn't the first one though, this is the extended or expanded edition. So obviously when the game first came out, they released the first version, and then they released the DLC or the expansion pass, and then they did an updated version. This is like, I think this is the biggest out of all of those guides. Look at it, it's insane, isn't it? Yeah, this is a great game. Obviously, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, which is awesome. But yeah, this one is amazing because you have all of the, just there's so much in this game. It's incredible. Yeah, just check that out there. So good, isn't it? Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Yeah, this is just a freaking great game. Like I said, Tears of the Kingdom is actually getting its own separate guide, and yeah, it's going to be freaking cool. I actually completely remembered something. There is actually another guide I have I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so we're back again after that jump cut. Yeah, I completely forgot I have a Sekiro Shadows Die Twice guide. Another really cool hardback one. But yeah, so if you haven't played this game, this is a game by From Software, so it's one of the Souls games. But this one is kind of a Souls game with a bit of a twist. It's kind of, from what I remember, it's a little bit inspired by the likes of Tenchu, Onimusha, that sort of thing. So you're playing as a samurai guy, there's like stealth elements. There's a really kind of deep, involving battle system. There's like parry mechanics and all sorts. Yeah, it's just an awesome game. But this is such a cool guide anyway. Obviously, you know, I mainly just got this for the collector's value. Thing is, like, I think you know, using the guide for a Souls game, you kind of doing yourself a bit of a injustice, because obviously part of these games is the exploration. That's like one of the coolest aspects of it. I think I want to show you this particular one. Obviously you have these cool things here, eavesdropping opportunities. That's like ways to get like cool extra dialogue. And then there's, also you have like an interaction, bloody hell, I can't even speak, interactions section as well for cool things, because you know, if you want to, you know, these are good if you're looking to like platinum game, obviously. Obviously, yeah, we have, again, you know, the stuff to do with the enemies and the like. Yeah, this is a great guide, by the way. I just love the size of it. These ones are so cool. That's something that you should, please don't clip me saying that. I just love the size of it. It sounded a bit dodgy, didn't it? But yeah, that's the collection anyway. Yeah, I hope you liked the video. And yeah, like I said, we've got the Tears of the Kingdom guide coming out soon. So at least there's some video game guides out there for people who care about them. But yeah, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys again.